and welcome to another episode of the Marco Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. Today, we are going to talk about the runaround. The runaround is just something that I'm pretty sure that we have all experienced, especially being a small business owner. You get the runaround a lot. I just want to talk about trusting your gut and just being aware of when you're getting the runaround, because I have so many stories about this happening to me that it's just beyond ridiculous. And they were a lot of this happened to me when I was doing my craft business and I was in the beginning of it. And this is back when I thought that just everybody was going to be a customer. But one situation that really sticks out to me, I just can't believe that I did this to myself or that I allowed this to happen to me. But hey, trust your gut, people. This person, everything in my gut just told me that this person was flaky. But I was desperate, and I am sure that they could just smell the desperation on me. And that's probably why majority of the things happened in this situation that it did. So I was introduced to this person by a mutual acquaintance that I had. I was introduced to this person by a mutual acquaintance that we had. And the person that I was introduced to, we will call her Stacy. I've never had a customer named Stacy, so this will work for me. And I just happened to have a book on my desk that's written by somebody named Stacy, so I went with Stacy. So we're going to call this person Stacy. So I was introduced to Stacy by, as I said, a mutual acquaintance. And Stacy was starting her business and said that she was trying to build a brand. She told me that she wanted shirts and tote bags and some other things. And I was so excited because I was like, okay, this is what I wanted. I wanted to be able to provide merch to small businesses because I knew that would help me build my business. When the mutual acquaintance told me about this person and gave me their number, I immediately reached out to them, told them, who I was, how I got their information. Day of the meeting comes and Stacy canceled. And I was so devastated. No, this is what I was supposed to be doing. We were going to have this meeting. So I just refused to give up that easily. And I mean, after all, you don't get anywhere by giving up, right? So I asked Stacy if she would like to reschedule. And so we did. We rescheduled the meeting and we met up to chat and everything. And so we were both just super excited about all the things and the possibility of working together. She was excited about the merch. I was excited about getting this huge order. At least I thought that we were both excited, but I was definitely excited. So Stacy told me everything that she wanted. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I can do this. She decided which package she wanted. And I told her that I would send her over the invoice. And originally, I think she wanted 15, 20 shirts. She wanted some coasters. She wanted decals. She wanted greeting cards. She wanted hang tags. Also wanted me to redesign her logo. Me being me, I get home, I get to work because I'm just super excited at this point. I send Stacy her invoice and I do some mock-ups for the new logo for her. And I get no response to the invoice. And of course, crazy me, I send out the new logo design before I get any type of deposit or anything like that. So then the reminder invoice goes out. Still no response. And so I was just like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's because I charged her for the full amount. And I'm like, most places just do a deposit and then the rest upon completion. What I did was I went in and I updated the invoice to a 45% deposit. And then I resent the invoice. I send the invoice reminder goes out. No response. Final invoice reminder goes out. Still no response. So the invoice was canceled. So you would think that after that, I just leave it alone and be like, okay, because at this point, the red flags are just flying. There are so many red flags that I should have just stepped away, but I didn't. So I reached out to her and I reached out to her to follow up and was like, hey, are you still interested? Did you want the stuff? You didn't pay your invoice. The invoice was canceled. And she's like, oh yeah, I just wanted to change a few things. So she said that now she just wanted shirts and tote bags. And I'm like, okay, cool. I sent her another invoice based on what we discussed. And this time I was like, all right, we're going to do a 60% deposit because of what happened the last time. Send out the invoice. You can guess what? Invoice not paid. First invoice goes out, nothing. Reminder invoice goes out. Nothing. Third invoice is getting ready to go out. Still nothing. More red flags. But what do? I reach out to her again. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. So she pays the 60% deposit. And I'm like, okay, cool. We're in business. So I'm working on the stuff. I'm sending her mock-ups. It came down to the point where I was working on something and I wasn't happy with how it was turning out. So I communicated that with her because I'm not going to give someone a product that I'm not proud of myself or that I wouldn't personally put out. And so I told her I'd be happy to refund her money for the portion of the job that wasn't working out the way I wanted it to, or I could just do it without the logo. But it had been over a week for the information that I was waiting for from her. And I also communicated that to her as well, that I was still waiting on information that we had previously discussed a week ago. And so during all of this time, I had given her a sample t-shirt and I had also picked out some colors for one of her products. Like I told her to, I was like, hey, you need to go look at these colors in person because stuff can look different on the phone than it actually does in person. And she never did. Another red flag. But did I pay attention to it? Nope. So I had emailed her the sample colors, but like I said, I explained all of that. And she was just like, oh, no, it's fine. I'll just look at them over the phone. And so she did that. I ordered the material for her. And so I don't know if anybody knows anything about sewing, but when you get material for sewing, most people like to wash their material before they use it. And most places will take back fabric as long as it's unwashed and uncut. Thank God that I listened to my gut with this one because my gut told me not to wash or cut the fabric yet. And I am so happy that I listened to that. Because sure enough, I sent her another picture of the material once I got it so she could see it. She was like, yeah, I don't like those colors. They just really don't. It's not the right shade that I thought it was going to be. And so she also told me that she didn't like the material of the shirt, which was, again, after me tracking her down to be like, hey, did you get the shirt? Did you like it? What do you think of it? And she was like, no, I don't like the material of it. I was like, okay, I can try another material. And so then she changed something else about it. And so finally I just asked her, I was like, hey, do you still want the products? Do you still want to work together? I was like, I'm usually a really good judge of character and good at picking up on context clues. And I'm like, your vibe is telling me that you're really not interested anymore, but you just don't want to say it. And I was like, if that's the case, let me know. I'm fine. My feelings aren't going to be hurt. And she's like, oh, no. I still want the materials. I'm trying to build my brand. I'm trying to build my business. And she's like, just because I don't like the shirt, that doesn't mean that I don't want to work with you. And so I was like, all right, cool. So she said that she wanted tank tops. And so this is where I made a $175 mistake, y'all. So I found a place that offered tank tops for sublimation, because with sublimation, you have to use something that has polyester blends, and it has to be a higher count of polyester blends. So she was taking a while to respond to my messages and stuff. Again, nothing new. Had all these red flags before. And so I kept debating, but I was like, should I order the shirt? Should I not order the shirts? I was like, I know the site sells out really quick, and it was really hard for me to find these tank tops. If they sell out and she wants them, then I don't know where else I'm going to find them from, and I'm not going to be able to fulfill this order. So despite everything that had happened and all the red flags that were thrown out, I purchased these tank tops because I knew that she was going to want them, and I knew that she was going to order them, and that the order was just going to go through. So I went ahead and I ordered them. So when they came in, I called her and I told her that the tank tops were in, and she's like, oh, I'm so excited. She's like, I want to see them. I was like, all right, cool. She's like, I want to see how they fit and stuff like that. I said, okay, cool. I can try one on, and I can FaceTime you, and I can FaceTime you right back in 5 minutes or something like that. You can see how it looks, and I can tell you what size and everything I tried on. She's like, okay, cool. So I called her back in less than 5 minutes, because it doesn't take that long to freaking change a shirt. So she didn't answer. So I waited a couple of minutes, and then I texted her and I was like, hey, are you still available? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm out to eat with my family right now. Thinking to myself, okay, I just talked to you 5 minutes ago or so and told you that I would be calling you right back to show you the shirt. If you weren't available, why didn't you just say, hey, I'm not available right now. Can we do this another time? It was finally after that moment of over a month of us going back and forth. This has probably been a month and a half of us going back and forth, that I just finally realized she had been stringing me along this whole time, and she never had any type of intention of actually going through with the order. I mean, it was literally whenever she would actually respond to me, it was just always changes in the order, changes in this, changes in everything. And so at that moment, I just went ahead and I canceled her remaining balance, and I sent her an email finally enforcing my policies that I had been ignoring because I was so desperate for this order. And she hadn't responded to any of my emails or texts or anything like that since she told me that she was out to eat, which was a week prior to me like canceling the order. So I explained in my email that her order had reached cancellation status and that it was outlined in my policy, which was attached to the invoice, that approval for all revisions and changes must be made within 3 business days. And then I also explained that we had last spoken at the end of June, because by this time it was the middle of July. And so I was like, we last spoke at the end of June. I sent her an update 3 days later, which I had told her I would do, and that she still hadn't provided me with the information that I had requested in like the middle of June. And she hadn't approved or disapproved any of the designs. So I refunded her the money minus the $30, which was also outlined in my policy because I did do like work on her logo and some other things that I had gotten. And then guess what, y'all? I got an immediate response back from her. And she texted me and asked, why did I cancel the invoice? And so I ignored the message because I just found it completely odd that she received a notification for the cancellation, but didn't receive one for all the other invoices that I had sent her, or didn't receive any of the other emails that I had sent her. So she reads me back. She emails me back and she was like, I see your email now. So you know what? Just forget it, Angel. That's fine. And I'm like, are you seriously sitting here with an attitude with me when you don't respond to any of my messages? You keep changing your mind about everything, going back and forth on it. And now that I'm finally enforcing my policies and now not allowing you to string me on anymore, now you're upset with me. And so now I'm stuck with $175 worth of tank tops. And so I am now the proud owner of several of these because I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? All of this could have been avoided if I had just listened to my gut and bailed out, if not on the first red flag, but at least by the second red flag. This also goes for like people who keep asking you for samples, because I had somebody one time that just kept like asking me to make samples and stuff of a product for them. I did make the samples, but then they never ordered anything. And I'm like, I've probably made you $50 worth of samples. You've invested $0 into me, and now I've lost this $50. So just always trust your gut, pay attention to the red flags, and don't let people smell your desperation. All right, I will talk to you all again soon. Love the candidness. This podcast is so refreshing. It's literally like you're getting a one-on-one mentorship session, sitting with Angel, having coffee, and hearing all her lessons learned, ups and downs, and always from her authentic personal experience. Thank you so much for this review from Let's Unpack That with Alex and Grace. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Please share the episode with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, and review. 5-star ratings and reviews helps the G.L.O.E podcast get on other shows' recommendation lists and helps new listeners to find me. Your 5-star review may be read on an episode. Also, if you would like to support this podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the show notes. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening. Please make sure to follow and rate the podcast whenever you listen.